And so they hire a guy who's 20 years old, who dropped out of college after 2 years at Cooper Union with no teaching experience to teach math at this school. Basically,
At the age of 20?
at the age of 20, basically on the strength of a meeting with the headmaster of the school at the time, a guy by the name of Donald Barr.
Who was Donald Barr?
Yeah, so that name might sound familiar. Donald Barr is a very interesting character, not least because his son, Bill Barr, was the attorney general who had Jeffrey Epstein arrested and oversaw his death in the federal jail that he was in.
We gotta get into what he just said. And I mean, I know quite a few details about the entire Epstein thing, but really, most of the weirdest shit and weird connections that you find are just like in the most obvious weird shit. So, what was he just talking about? Donald Barr. He was the dude that hired Epstein to be a teacher at the Dalton School. Donald Barr was the headmaster of the Dalton School and formerly worked at Columbia University. But even before that, he worked at the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, which was actually the precursor to the CIA. Cool. And he's the one that happened to hire Jeffrey Epstein with no teaching experience in a very prestigious school that should really, be trying to hold up standards when you're looking for educators to perpetuate education. But even beyond that, he was not only in the education system, Donald Barr, but he was a science fiction writer as well. And he wrote a couple books, science fiction. And one of those books was called Space Rebellions, I think. And, follows a pretty silly plot, with a lot of adult themes. And it's about an alien race basically like taking over and enslaving a bunch of people and using them as sex slaves and participating in a bunch of really horrendous acts with these sex slaves, and particularly underage sex slaves. And then his other book is about, another science fiction one about a revolution and a taking over and a new world government. So that's cool. Like that dude was just saying, his son, William Barr, Bill Barr, was an attorney general who was actually appointed by George H.W. Bush, who ran the CIA for a long time. But he, Bill Barr, was the one that headed the investigation on the whole Jeffrey Epstein death. And he very quickly was trying to get the word out that Jeffrey Epstein definitely committed suicide. And he was actually really quick about it because he kind of started pushing that even before the medical examiners really had a thorough idea of what happened. But, let's get into this next part.
To this person, I don't get the underage girl thing. That's they're not into it. They're kids. Maybe I have too many kids or something. I'm not being self-righteous, I'm just being honest.
No,
I just don't get that. I don't see any appeal at all.
It's a pathological obsession. I mean, Epstein was into girls with braces specifically.
Exactly. So what is that? And the conventional explanation is, maybe I'm being too honest, but I think this is really revealing because it's not about sex. It's a spiritual thing. And I said, what is that? And this friend of mine said, it's the thrill of destroying innocence. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that is the definition of evil. That is Satan right
Well,
there.
that was-
It's taking
I mean-
something pure. I guess this is maybe, I'm the only person who never thought of this. Maybe you have already have. I had not thought of that. I was like, it's not just a sexual attraction. Like, oh, I think, underage girls with braces are hot. They're not. No normal person thinks that. That's bizarre. No, the idea is that I'm destroying something that's pure.
Yeah, and throughout history,
Well, that's Satan acting. Sorry.
throughout history, people have looked at that as something that confers power. That's what child sacrifice is,
Exactly.
you know?
So, I mean, do you guys see, like, a bunch of weird things getting connected? And it doesn't even stop it. Well, okay, do you know why they're doing that? Why they all seem to be connected and on the same page as far as doing this to underage girls, children, and abusing them in this way? Because they're thriving off of the fear. And I mean, there's a lot of other things that goes into it as far as what they're hoping to accomplish after these acts. But the big thing, honestly, they're literally emitting different energies and emotions consciously from these victims. And why they're doing that is because they're feeding into these interdimensional beings that help them keep everything exactly the way they're doing it. Why do you think they have so much weird symbolism and Masonic temples and Bohemian Grove and they're literally doing it to keep control and to honor the thing that they're doing it for, because it feeds off of this energy that they're getting out of these victims. So yeah, they get sexual gratification out of it in some weird way, but they're also doing it so they can emit certain emotions out of them and turn that into fuel to feed interdimensional beings. Sick world.